Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of NF Twins. So, today we're going to talk about bikes and maybe a little bit of scooters. Mark, are you ready to hop in?
Hell yeah.
Or
I'm
hop
ready
on?
to take on the ride.
Awesome. All right. Why are we starting with this topic? First of all, because it's super interesting. Second of all, man, these markets, you won't even believe how fucking big these are. I saw these numbers and I was like, what? And they're growing at which rate? Well, now let's just jump in. Mark, guess how big the bike market is.
Right. Just bikes or e-bikes specifically?
So
or
we
both?
start
How does
with
it work?
bikes and then we can also like bikes and e-bikes, and I'm both. Like,
So I'm
give me
guessing
first.
this is worldwide.
Yes, of course. We're going for
This last
worldwide,
year.
baby.
Yes.
Yes.
2 billion.
Go how much, bro? Much
20
higher.
billion.
Much higher, bro.
100 billion.
Yeah, so in 2023, it was $113.7 billion, the bike industry. But it's a giant. This is gigantic, the industry. And now guess how much the e-bikes are.
10%. 13 billion.
They're actually at 43 billion already,
Damn.
the e-bike ones. So it's
That's-
crazy. Like, think about it. It's a third or more than a third of all bikes being sold are e-bikes. So at least the revenue that's generated, because I think it's not proportionate because they're way more expensive.
That's true.
The second point is, Mark, guess how much they will be in 2032. So like in the next
Just
8
the
years.
e-bikes?
Yeah, just the e-bikes.
Oh, 100 billion.
148 billion, bro. They grow 14.6% year over year.
Damn, that's insane.
Just think about 14.6%. They triple in 8 years. More than triple.
That's insane, man, if you think about it.
These numbers are insane. When I saw that, because why are we even starting this? Mark and I, well, I saw the other day a video of how to that you can basically make out of your normal bike an e-bike, and I was like, why would anybody buy this, right? I mean, and then we did some research and found like, damn, it's crazy. First of all, e-bikes are super expensive. So we're talking about like our older brother bought one. How much you pay? Like 4.5K or something like this.
Yeah, something like that.
And it was like a cube, whatever. And then the waiting list is horrible. You wait like a few months to get a bike because you can't like.
Well, not with all of them, right? Just this brand, for example.
Exactly. I'm not sure what it was, a cube, because
Cube.
yeah, and they have special motors, engines. It's crazy, but think about it. Now talking about why is this actually relevant, right? Right? Because for example, in Barcelona, because we live in Barcelona, you see more and more that the city is trying to push out cars out of the city, so to trying to reduce pollution. And then of course there are two competitors, e-bikes, because man, you don't want to use a normal bike to go to work because you're going to be sweaty. And the other one,
honestly, it depends on the city, because here it's pretty straight, so you can do also normal.
a Champlain, no, like
If
you go
you're
up there,
a peasant.
like so I wouldn't say that. And then also like, man, e-bike is just so much better if you don't want to use
you know what's
benzene.
even better than that, Lucas? Scooters.
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say. So you always have two options. You have an e-bike, or of course you can just use a scooter. Okay, Mike, talking about scooters, how big is the scooter market in 2023? And of course the growth.
Right. Do you know when that fucking started? I feel like if you think about it,
Oof.
probably like 5-6 years ago. I want to say before COVID.
Yeah, that's when they all arrived, at least when they were like the big ones for
2018 or something, probably.
Check it out. In the meantime, Mark, give me a number. How big do you think is the market in 2023 for e-scooters? Just throw out a number.
20 billion.
$37 billion, which I think is quite big, because if you think about it, scooters compared to bikes. And then, of course, how much is it growing? Almost 10%, baby.
Ooh,
Almost
damn.
10%.
That's wild.
So this is like, think about it, just by 2030, it will be, I don't want to do public math, but it probably over 60 billion or 70.
Oof.
That's insane. These numbers are crazy. If you think about it, any industry that grows at that speed, and especially like bikes, if you think about it, bike is not something like new. Bikes have been around for a long time.
So I think, you know, one of the things, I think it's just the okay. I think the bike market in itself is not the number of bikes is not increasing that much. I think it's just the value has increased so much. In terms of, there's a couple of things, right? I don't know. First of all, I'm not sure how much inflation plays a role in that in prices. Second of all, then obviously you have that a bike now doesn't cost 400; it costs like 2,000 if you want an e-bike.
But it can also buy cheaper bikes, right? So I
Yeah,
guess
but
with
not
this
e-bike. You have,
e-bikes, yes, that's a
but they're
very
still
valid
much
point.
more. But they're still much more expensive than the equivalent in manual.
True.
So
I
that's what
mean,
I'm saying. Just the total value, well, or whatever, the revenue is just increased per customer, right? Customer lifetime value
yeah.
increases. And then you have accessories. Oh my god, they got a brother so good with the accessories. So the bike was already a couple of, I don't know, 4K, whatever. And then he spent like 500 bucks just on accessories. He literally has fucking, how am I going to call it? Like a rope with what he can pull a different bike from behind him. So that's insane. It's like fucking,
Ugh.
basically, he could be like pulling out a car. Insane. So these are the things that are super, super interesting. Also, by the way, Lucas, the scooters came
And
out in the
how
December of
often did he use it?
2016.
How often did he use it? I think
Not
he
yet at all.
used
Not at
the
all.
entire e-bike. He has now 2 or 3 months, maybe used it 4 times.
Yeah,
So,
it's
well, yeah.
classic things. So, anyways, so the scooters came out
2016?
in
Damn.
2016. The thing
So
about
8
the
years.
market is still pretty newish
Just think
compared to
about the
bikes.
scooters, like how many evolutions you would have seen, right? Like first, problems with the tires. So they switched from air tires to full rubber. Then
Hmm.
full rubber caused problems with the this, and then they because they're seeing more over the generations what is going
Yeah,
wrong, like compared to a bike which has been already around for 100, more than 100 years, probably like 200, probably. 100, how old do you think are bikes? 150 years? Like real bike, like the form
200,
that we know it as now?
206 years, 207
Wow.
years,
Oh, that
1817.
man, that is a long but that was the big wheel in the front and the small in the back, or is it already the new modern
Well, it
bike
was the first
design
invention. I don't know, not the modern design, obviously, but it was a
when
bike. Yeah.
ooh, 1885.
So
85.
I don't know. I saw something else, something
Yeah,
earlier, as newly made records.
a long time ago.
Pedal
Alright,
powered tricycles in 1771. I don't know, a long time ago.
alright, Mark, do you think who's gonna win from the 2? And or is there actually different segmentation between e-bikes versus scooters? And
Look,
why is there
so I think,
segmentation?
okay, if you have to fight who's gonna win, I think it's different, a total different market in that sense. Like bikes are still considered like I want to be healthy in that kind of sense, and e-scooters are just like I want to go from A to fucking B. I don't care. I'm lazy. I just want to do it, get it done. So I think also the thing is with bikes, it takes up so much more space. You have these foldable bikes, etc., but then they're also a different price class, right? So for people, consumers that are more price sensitive, these scooters are for sure a win because you can get a scooter for 250 bucks,
Yeah, but
280. That's a pretty
man,
good scooter.
I have a different point of view as well. I feel like bike riders have more not prestige, but at least the police don't fuck with you that much. Because I don't know,
True.
like with a bike, they don't say that
100%.
much, but with a scooter, I don't know. You
Bro,
feel
just
like
remember when we lived in Amsterdam. So we lived in Amsterdam, and when scooters were not permitted. It's the same thing because it
exactly.
says they have an engine in there, an electric engine. But man, e-bikes are the same shit. It's just a bike
But I have a
lobby. They're like,
pedal.
oh, it's fine. And pedals. I'm like, what the
I
fuck is
think
this
it
shit?
changed a little bit over the last few years for sure. That scooter get more and more accepted. But just think about it. It's the same thing. Like and then e-bike, these guys drive 50 easily. Like I mean, for example, look at the backbone of Barcelona, right?
They're
All
like,
the glow drivers, etc. Man, these bikes are crazy. The mountain
well,
bikes with
but
the E.
also they have scooters. A lot of them have scooters as well, and they are crazy. But I think they'll probably get. This is another thing because there's right now it's so funny. They have now they're testing more and more the speed capacity or how fast these scooters can go. But
Yeah,
they have like literal like small treadmills for the scooters, and then they just fucking hit the gas so they see how fast they can go. It's actually pretty insane.
wow.
The police has that. Sorry, I need to
Yeah,
specify. So it's just like really, really interesting and really weird. Not gonna lie to you.
that's
Because they
crazy.
wouldn't do that on a bike. They would never do that.
No, exactly. That's the point. It's just like there's discrimination against scooter drivers. I'm telling you right now.
100%. I mean, on the other hand, I also see it. It's like, hey, they think like you drive crazier because
Yeah.
it's easier, and I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in general, I also believe it's just like in because it's a new thing and new things are tend to be normally not accepted directly from society, whereas older ones, like everybody's, yeah, it's a bike. Come on. It's nothing bad. All right, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. If someone dies of a scooter, like, oh my god, someone dies of a scooter. Someone on a bike is just like, oh, okay, we have had history of bike deaths for 120 whatever years. So I'm like,
Yeah.
dies on a bike, dies on a scooter.
Oh, he was not the helm. He was not wearing helmet.
Yeah, exactly. It's just different. It's like,
All right,
anyways, coming
Mark.
back to it, Lucas. Let's go.
So imagine you have a normal bike, right? And you're like, man, I want to kind of upgrade my bike here. I mean, you can just think
Oh,
about purchasing e-bike, but hey, you have like 3 or 4K, and imagine you already have a bike which is already 3K, but it's just not electric, and maybe you don't want to use it all the time electric. Of course, you can always just turn it off and on an e-bike, but what if you just love that bike? Well, there's an answer for that, and that's called from Scaper, I guess.
Harper.
And they basically have a click on, take it off, click it on, click it off in one click, and it basically adds a motor to your bike. For those who are watching on the screen, I mean, look, it's super cool. Basically, you just have first to change the disk drive, so the brake rotor, and then you can just click it in there. Here you have
And
a
you
pedal
add something to the
sensor. So
pedal, so it
basically,
says,
exactly when you sense it, it sense it when you're moving. So and then it starts the engine. So it's like really really cool.
nice.
And yeah, it's like
I
also
think this is
like
super cool because it adds because this is technically an accessory. This is not a
yeah,
bike. This adds to the bike market, which is
top
super
speed.
super interesting. And
Look
then
that.
also then people don't have to be like, oh, I want to have an e-bike. They're not limited to that. They can just have regular bike, add this tool onto it. That's it. And they can even use different bikes, right? What if they have a mountain bike and they have a street bike and they can just add it to the street bike? Like a street
That's it.
bike, sorry, like a regular bike, not a street bike. Or even
Um,
for a street bike, they could maybe add it. I don't know.
for me, it's interesting to see just how the range, right, at the speed. So they have 25 kilometers per hour. I think that's also the limit that you're allowed to drive with a scooter, something like this, because otherwise you would be considered.
I think bikes, Lucas, now have this limit officially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I'm looking right now at the. Here's a on Bosch. You have an e-bike range resistant because I want to see like what is actually better, right? Is it the e-bike, like from the range, or do you actually the Scaper? Is it like a good alternative, or is just like an okay tool, right? So I can just see on.
Well,
Shit. Look at this. You can just type in, and then you have the e-bike range assist, and then you can say, okay. I mean, I weigh 100 kilos easily. All right, here we go. Your e-bike, perfect rider. What's the distance? Do you see the distance here? Range 89 kilometers. Well, I mean
wow. That's fucking far.
68. Your bike. Look, you can even change the bikes. It's cool. The drive. Anyways, I think it's very cool. Like, how much do you think it costs actually? The Scaper.
Oh, I know. The Scarper it costs 1,500, but I was thinking first like $900, but on the other hand, it's $1,500 you can get an e-bike for it. But I guess they they pay or let themselves pay for it, and that people like this kind of shit. Especially
Oh,
like I mean, they have one video. They have a bike that was like a tandem bike, so
exactly. That's what
you
I'm gonna
would
say.
never
It's
get
for
that fucking
special.
e-bike. Yeah,
Exactly, it's for special bikes that normally you couldn't buy e-bikes or e versions from it.
yeah.
You can just like make it automatically an e-bike. So that's I think that's a very niche market. So I think it's very very cool how they're positioning themselves because in the end it's like, hey, yes, if you want directly an e-bike, that's good, but it's for those people who already have a bike and then want to upgrade to an e-bike, they could just like use it. So I think that makes it very, very interesting. Also with tandem bikes, I'm not sure how many people actually use tandem bikes, but
I don't know, but look, think if you actually fucking dominate that niche, you can get very rich of that
oh,
because there's still a
for
lot of people
sure.
who have tandem bikes for sure.
And also think about just like how much they are, 1,500 pounds
Yeah,
for
well,
the
let's say they
motor.
have a profit margin to 20-30%. You need to sell a lot of them.
Yeah.
And they're not repeat purchases directly, right? Maybe after
Oh
two,
no,
three
for
years
sure.
or
No.
something. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's interesting. It's a super cool idea. I like it a lot. That's a good find, Lucas. Good find.
of course. All right, I think that's it, Mark. Do you have anything else?
No, I think just I really like
Ooh,
the market. I think it's like I love that it's growing. think it's super interesting how what they do, and I love what Barcelona is doing, for example. I think around the world, there are probably a lot of cities that are doing the same thing. They're moving away from cars. I want to try to push them out. Everyone has their opinion on this. I kind of like it, but I get why people say they don't like it. They like to have their cars and they're getting taken away their freedom. But as someone in a big city, this is fucking fantastic and it's cool. I think me personally, I
Also,
prefer a scooter because I think the footprint is smaller.
yeah,
But I see why people love
it's
e-bikes
also
and they're
cheaper,
so cool.
bro.
Yeah,
It's
but
cheaper.
you can use bikes also like off road, and you can do it with a scooter. That's pretty
Yeah,
sick.
scooter's pretty garbage. Also, when it's wet, and scooter is pretty much a death trap. So
Well, bikes are not much better. Not gonna lie to
a
you.
little bit like bet. Okay, the B-Sing not because they are the wheels
They're
are like
horrible. Yeah, these are the city bikes
horrible.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But besides that, all right,
You're
everybody.
right. You're right. You're right. Bikes are better in that sense.
All right, everybody. I think that's it. Hope you like it. Of course, let it know in the comment section. Subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, catch you next one. Peace.
Peace.